Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And welcome to the From the Closet podcast. Today we are covering a silent voice or the shape of voice, depending on which translation you prefer. Um, which is weird because Netflix fucking uses both.
Really?
I mean,
That's
yeah,
weird.
like if you look at like the title when you're browsing Netflix, it says a silent voice.
Mhm.
But then when you go into the movie at the very beginning and at the very end of the movie, it says the shape of voice.
Yeah, I actually did notice that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a little weird. Um, so yeah, this would be what our third anime movie because we did My Neighbor
One,
Totoro.
two, yeah.
We did My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service, and I don't think we've done any other Ghibli movies.
No,
No, I watched The Secret World of Arietti earlier this year, but that wasn't for the podcast. That was just of my own
because
volition.
you
And
felt like it.
yeah,
I've been rewatching an anime, but obviously the same applies.
yeah. So I'm going to spin the wheel to determine what our next wheel movie is, and uh, it landed on Spider-Man 3.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Okay then.
So look forward to Spider-Man 3. Tomorrow we are covering. No, not tomorrow. This releases on a Tuesday. Next week we will be doing our free movie of the month for April and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And then the Monday after that is Spider-Man 3. So look forward to
Hmm.
that.
I want pictures of Spider-Man on my desk.
Oh God. And I just remembered Spider-Man 3 is where it just like that movie was not good.
As I keep hearing.
Yeah. Um but anyway, if you'd like to avoid spoilers for A Silent Voice or The Shape of Voice, there will be a link in the description below to Just Watch, which itself will have links to all the places you can rent, purchase, or stream the movie. For us here in the US, it is on Netflix. Our link is to the US version of the site. However, if you use the Just Watch app, it will automatically redirect you to your country's page. And if you use the website, you can change the country from the website page. Also, in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can get access to episodes of this show early, as well as early access to episodes of our sister show, Off the Shelf, which is about books. That podcast is exclusive to YouTube and Patreon. Also, in the description below is a link to, well, I'd say Anchor.fm. The link will say Anchor.fm, which itself will contain links to every platform the podcast is on, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter, where you can be notified when we release a new episode. I don't know, that whole Anchor FM thing is weird because like they changed everything.
Completely out of nowhere too.
Yeah, it was like, uh, yeah, okay, we were given no notice.
Though it has been changing rapidly, and then just suddenly everything changed.
Yeah, for real. But anyway, like if you'd like to avoid spoilers, please leave the podcast now because we are going to start talking about the movie.
Wait,
Holy
we
God.
talk about movies?
Yeah. I gotta say, before we actually dive into talking about it, how nice it was to actually have a little bit of a break from recording. Like for the people
It's kind of
listening,
like that, yeah.
yeah, for the people listening, it won't have it won't have affected anything. That nothing will have changed at all. But for us, just a little break. It was great. It was great for my mental health and like coming back. And the first movie we do, in my opinion, it's a really fucking good movie. It just feels great.
Hmm. That
But
really
yeah,
is all I had to add to that.
that's it. Well, what did you think of the
Yeah, basically.
movie?
I mean, hmm, that's a really good question. And honestly, I don't really know myself. Obviously, I'm not. Ever since I started calling you, um, you're talking about how great this movie is. Obviously, I see a good movie. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, like I don't know. It like I wasn't sure how this movie would fit with your tastes, because like it it almost feels like a romance movie, but it isn't one.
It's a bit of a romance, but it's also
I
heavy drama.
Yeah, like we know the characters have feelings for each other, but the movie isn't about that. It's more about depression and
Hmm.
ableism and stuff like that. I mean, I'd call it a slice of life drama. I wouldn't really say romance is that big of a thing in this movie. In fact, it kind of feels like one or two scenes where they're hinting at a
Hmm.
romance. But
Which
yeah,
is then I find it weird. That's actually kind of why I find it weird how the movie is labeled as a romance.
it is
Yeah, on Just Watch anyway. I don't know if it's on Netflix.
weird. I didn't look at anything except for the little Netflix blurb
Hmm.
that was just talking about how Shoujo tracks down a girl that he bullied and tries to make amends. Like that's pretty much what it is. Um,
Hmm.
so like I didn't see genres or anything. I knew it was an anime, and I knew the main character was deaf going in. Well, not the main character. A main character was deaf going into this,
Um.
but
Okay. Admittedly, is romance was one of the four things listed on the Just Watch page.
wow, what else
Though
was
one
listed?
of them feels less fitting
What else was listed?
somehow. Drama, animation, kids and family, romance.
Yeah, those last two, I don't feel like they fit, but especially kids and family. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there were
something,
kids and families in the movie.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. There's children in horror movies too.
Hmm. Why did you just remind me of Danganronpa?
I mean, fucking hell, there's a child in Deadpool too. I wouldn't call that a kids movie.
I guess a lot of parents taking in their kids really thought that Deadpool 1 was. They
Yeah,
got
like I
angry.
swear to God, I saw my local theater was like, Deadpool is a rated R movie. It is not meant for kids. Like that was literally a sign that they had put up in the lobby.
What, did these parents need their reading glasses? Next to the movie, it says, what does that say? Okay, for kids? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So one of the things I love about this movie is like how realistically it shows what it's like for someone with a disability in a public school setting. Because it really is that bad a lot of the time. Just like myself growing up, like I wasn't in the public school system for long because like I transferred to a school specifically for disabled people in the second grade. But I
Didn't you
was
say it was tailored to blind people?
yes, people who are blind or have significant vision disabilities, or
Right.
although they actually were letting in people who had 20/20 vision as long as they were colorblind. So it, sometimes the significant vision disabilities was a little bit stretched.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, I guess it's a school, they want to get their attendance up and whatnot.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, even though I was at that school from second grade all the way to 12th grade, that didn't mean all of the people there were. And I heard their stories about how they were treated in public school, and they were
Hmm.
horrible. Like, and then, like, the buses for this school were shared between the blind school and the deaf school, which was across the street, or not really across the street, but just about. Um, so, like, I would hear stories from kids from that school as well, and yeah, it's rough, and like it's like this for people with autism too, I'm sure, and other such
I'm sorry,
disabilities, like.
the one thing that just popped in my head is like one of those anime sports movies that is like that competitive school right across the street or something.
Yeah, no, the
I
the
don't know why that's the first thing I thought.
these two schools, they were like kind of allies in a way. I mean, the weird thing is,
Hmm.
like, the blind school had a track team, no track. We had to use the deaf school's track, and we would literally run to the track every single day for practice.
Wait, hold on a second. You had a you had a fucking pool, but no track.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, just checking.
um, but yeah, the it was, I don't know, the way they showcase how disabled kids are bullied in public schools. It was very real, very realistic, and I very much liked that part of the movie. I like that they didn't try. I like that they didn't water it down at all. Um, it was very good.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that.
Yeah. But then, like, they also don't just go so far as to have you only being empathetic towards uh, the girl being bullied. They also make you see how these actions affect the person who bullied her. And, well, I guess the people, but mostly just Shoujo, our main character.
Mhm.
I mean, there is, of course, one character who never really takes the path of redemption, and God.
I mean, there will always be people like that. There's
Yeah,
just nothing you can do.
yeah, the one thing about this movie is that isn't realistic is that so many people um, opt to take the path to make amends, to make things better. Well, and then also that Shoujo was able to leave the hospital in that condition. Like, how the fuck did he get out without anybody noticing? Oh my God, he's up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I guess it was in the middle of the night. That probably explains how he's able to get out a bit easier than in the daytime.
I don't think so, but still, I don't know. It's movie stuff. Who cares? Um, I think at this point, this might be my favorite anime movie. Because,
Really?
like, previously it was The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and I just really liked how the time travel stuff worked in that movie. It was really fun, but, like, I don't know, like, I don't think I've ever watched an anime movie that gripped me emotionally, like this one
Hmm.
has.
I mean, I'll have to say the same. But it's actually more to due to the fact I have not watched many anime movies.
I also haven't watched that many either. Like I've seen, obviously I've seen My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service because we've covered them.
I'd be
Um,
concerned if you didn't.
I have seen both of the fairy tale movies. I have seen the A Certain Scientific Index. No, wait, it's A Certain Magical Index. I've seen the A Certain Magical Index movie. I have seen the Future Diary movie, a number of Dragon Ball movies, and I have seen Howl's Moving Castle and The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and Your Name. So
Yeah, no, I don't make a lot of money. Yeah, no, I just have 5 million.
I really don't think that's a lot because a lot of those movies are like a lot of those movies are parts of like anime shows. So
That's
like I
true,
don't.
and I noticed that in your list. But I mean, hell, I don't even have that big of a fraction of what you've watched.
I mean, like out of all the movies I just listed, the only ones that like are not uh, tied to a TV show are My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service, which we covered together.
Hmm.
Howl's Moving Castle, which is a Ghibli movie. The
God, I
Girl
may
Who
have
Leapt
watched
Through
that.
Time. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and Your Name. So like that's just two
My
extra
name?
anime movies that you haven't seen.
Yeah, I kind of need
The
to see
rest,
more.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna be covering more Ghibli movies at some point because almost all of them are on HBO Max.
Yeah, let's
Almost,
see how what happens with HBO Max first.
yeah. I mean, the downside though is
Oh
that Grave of the
shit,
Fire.
we're talking about Ghibli. Um, that just rapidly reminded me of something. Um, apparently it's Ghibli's anniversary or something.
Oh, interesting.
They're re-showing movies in theaters.
Hmm. I feel like that's
Um,
probably not going to do well because a lot of people, like, with some exceptions, mostly the exceptions are Marvel movies, but with some exceptions, people really aren't going to the theater as much anymore.
mhm. I mean,
Like,
they're advertising the hell out of this.
yeah, but like, like, so if you look at even Disney movies recently, all right, Strange World, it flopped. Whether you like the movie or you don't, I haven't even seen it. It flopped financially. And
Hmm.
it even after it dropped on Disney Plus, I you hardly see anyone talking about it. Encanto also flopped in theaters. Now I don't think
Counterpoint: Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish I'm seeing a lot of people talking about now that it's like available for streaming. I don't know if I was seeing anyone talking about it while it was in theaters.
Oh, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, though that could partially be the fact that I was looking for it. A lot of people were even saying how they saw it in theaters multiple times.
Yeah. See, the weird thing is like when it came to Encanto, I really wanted to see it in theaters, but it just so happened to coincide with the release of Ghostbusters Afterlife, and my dad and my sister really wanted to go see that, so we went and saw that instead. But I heard nobody talking about Encanto at all while it was in theaters. And remember, this was a movie I was excited for. Um,
Yeah,
and then it drops on Disney Plus, and everyone's talking about it. And like, I don't
I
know,
feel like
I
that's the way with. Of course, a lot of people are going to see DreamWorks movies because it's always a gamble on what streaming service it lands on. You already know what streaming service a Disney movie's going to land on.
yeah, but the funny thing is, people are still going to the theaters to see Marvel movies. But I guess, I guess it's because it's Marvel and it's always going to be big no matter what. Whereas with Disney,
Two
you're kind of
reasons. Hmm?
with
I
Disney,
mean,
you're kind of gambling.
well, two reasons I would say. One, with those high budget movies that they Marvel usually produces, you really want to see on the big screen. But two, it could also be wanting to avoid spoilers, so just see it early.
I mean, I guess that's a possibility. I never really found that I've had trouble avoiding Marvel spoilers. Of course, lately, Marvel themselves are making that hard because they're like, well, actually, it might just be Disney Plus. I don't know. One of the two. They're making it hard because they're advertising things on YouTube, especially that literally contain spoilers,
Mhm.
and like they're actually putting them in as YouTube ads, and it's like you've got to stop this. But we've gotten way off the topic of a silent voice. Um, but yeah, so previously, like I said, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time was my favorite anime movie, and I'd love for us to cover that. It's just that every time I've looked, it hasn't been available anywhere. Um,
I see. What is
but
that bit made by?
I think it was an animation company called Madhouse.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a very good movie, but we'll have to cover it eventually, at
Hmm.
some point. But I think now this is my favorite anime movie just by far because like it actually it, there's a lot of emotional gut punches in this movie. Like we literally open with our main character almost committing suicide.
Definitely a bold move. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and like this movie doesn't hold back at all. I feel like I almost feel like comparing it to Everything Everywhere All at Once, but of course Lily hasn't seen that. I do think that
Hmm.
movie's better, but this movie is still really fucking good. And it almost feels like they're not comparable either. So there is that too.
Yeah. I
Like there's
did
some
want to bring
things.
that up at more of the end of the podcast.
What do you
Just want
mean?
to say that. Um, I'll tell you about that later. I want to talk more
Yeah,
about this movie.
yeah. So honestly, I like really almost all of the characters. They have like even the side characters. They have fleshed out arcs and like more than one personality trait, which you don't see in a lot of anime movies.
Um, and very little tropes too.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like they did it really, really well. And like Shoko's sister, I found her to be an interesting character. Even the mother has like a character arc, and she's barely in the movie.
Her character arc is represented through the actions of the characters.
Yeah, it's so good. Like and the score and the sound design is just amazing. The animation itself it's beautiful. You
Damn,
know,
I never seen water look so fine.
I actually um I actually want to look up
Hmm.
something because the Oscars are something coming up. And I
That's what
want to
I was
see
going to bring up.
best
I
animated
actually already
movie
know the results of that.
2016 was Inside Out.
Hmm.
Mm,
Wait,
I
what are
don't
you
know how to
looking up?
feel. No, I was looking up the best animated feature 2016 from the Oscars,
Huh.
and it was Inside
That's when
Out.
this movie released, right?
Yeah, this movie was in 2016. Uh,
Hmm. I wonder if it got any awards, just at all.
Yeah, I actually want to know if this movie got nominated. Best Animated Feature 2016 nominees. Because, like, given that it's not Disney or DreamWorks, I imagine possibly not. Okay, Shaun the Sheep movie, Inside Out, When Marnie Was There, at I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that, and then Boy and the World. Now, this
Hmm.
movie deserved a nomination. Um, I wouldn't say I'm mad about Inside Out winning. Inside Out is a really fucking great movie. Um, it's just I don't know that
Well, you
this
have to
movie
also consider that the Oscars is a
they don't
what
respect
would I say?
animation.
Well, no,
They they just don't. I mean that's the
is it more of
reality
a
of it.
very American, right?
Japanese movies
Because
do
when you
get
look at
nominated for things sometimes. I have
that
seen.
is true, but looking at their awards, obviously it would get a lot more awards in Japanese, just Japanese awards. This movie is one of four of those, and nominated. I don't want to count that.
Yeah, I just
Also, um, Tokyo Anime Award Festival won Best Screenplay slash Original Story.
I mean, yeah, like that's a. I'm glad it actually won something because I think this movie
It
does
won a lot of
deserved.
things.
Yeah, like this movie deserves. It deserves to win something. Absolutely. I think this movie is. I don't know. Like, I never even saw that. Like, how do I put this? I never saw quite where the hype was for this movie. Like
Hmm.
I never saw people talking about it that much, but apparently it ended up being Cinema Therapy's most requested video.
Video
A-
ever.
yeah, and like obviously there's some hype for this movie. I just never saw people talking about it that much. I just knew that like one of the main characters was deaf, and this movie is apparently pretty good.
Hmm.
I didn't expect it to be this good, but
I guess it was
it,
a pretty good thing to put on the wheel.
yeah. I mean, besides that, there's also the fact that like I'm trying to watch a bunch of movies this year that I've never seen before. So this was part of my quest to do that, putting this movie on the wheel. I think. Actually, I might have even put it on a lot sooner. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, I forgot.
yeah, who cares? It what matters is it was put on the wheel and the wheel spun and landed on it. And it was a movie I hadn't seen before, which means I'm gonna have to
Physics
mark it
happened.
down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mark it down alongside all the other movies I've watched this year for the first time. But anyway, like I think for me, this movie could very well end up like it could very well end up in my top 10 movies just in general.
Hmm. I just
Because
want to confirm, are we, like, you have a little bit more to say about the movie, but after that,
I mean, after that, I feel like we could potentially close. How much time have we elapsed?
29 minutes, but there's something I wanted to bring up, especially because you, brought it up just a little bit earlier.
Okay, just let me say this.
Of course.
Like I find it I don't know. It could be recency bias. I did just watch the movie today, but like as a disabled person, seeing disability a character with disabilities represented so well and so tactfully in this movie, and then like actually still telling a compelling story around it with like the quality of animation that this movie provides, the sound, the score. like everything in it is just great. And like I know some people like they'll say that the some people will die on the hill that it's better in Japanese. I didn't watch it in Japanese. I watched the dub, and I do think there is some value in the dub because you get to hear the voice acting of someone trying to mimic a deaf person trying to speak. I actually don't know if the English voice actor is a deaf person or not. But yeah, the voice acting there works extremely well. That is very often how the deaf people I have known who have like spoken and they can't even hear themselves. That's very often how they sound. Um,
Hmm.
and it's still very much understandable, at least to me. But I, to some people, I don't think. Some people, I think, would have difficulty, especially if they're new to trying to listen.
Yeah. Um, I was just thinking about what you said. But actually, I wanted to bring up something about the Oscars. Um, by the way, you said I'm guessing you don't know what the results are.
No, I don't. I thought the Oscars were in
Um,
April.
no, actually, they just happened a few days ago. Really.
Hmm.
I have two things to say. One, fucking everywhere, whatever. One,
Good.
but something interesting happened with the animation one.
Was it Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. The Oscars fucking loves that man.
makes sense. But I mean, the weird thing is, it was not a Disney or DreamWorks movie.
Yeah.
Despite how much
Yeah.
I want you know that person to Puss in Boots to win, it is interesting to see the award go to not a big company.
See, I have a perspective where like my favorite movie in the animated movie nominees was Turning Red, but like it was also the only one I've seen. But I really did not want it to win because I don't feel that the Oscars like I don't feel that they respect animation at all. And a lot of the times the people voting in the animation category are just voting for whatever movie their kids liked. And
I mean, there
I
was a
just
point where they did respect animation.
yeah, but that was like before the 2010s. Um,
Yeah.
it just kind of irked me. I didn't want Turning Red to win, and I didn't think it would win either because of all the whole oh it talks about periods thing. Um, I felt like that would keep it from winning, and I also felt like when it came to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, I felt that it probably also wouldn't win because of like who the antagonist was and like the themes and messages in the movie. Um,
Hmm.
I felt like it wouldn't win because of that because the Oscars like they wouldn't see it as a kids movie, which ironically is based. I haven't even seen it, and I know that like obviously I don't think it's I don't think it's fair to call it just a kids movie. Um, and the
Absolutely not.
and
This
the
that
former
movie
CEO of
would be
the
oh god.
the former CEO of Disney can take notes from that. Animation is does not mean kids movie that adults just have to endure.
God, that Puss in Boots was a movie. One I will make you watch
I mean, I don't think you're
one
making me
day.
watch it at all. I'm gonna watch it eventually. Regardless, I'm
I will
watching it
make you
this
watch it.
year. I'm watching it this year regardless whether or not the wheel lands on it at all.
By the way, what streaming platform is it on?
No idea, but we have it on Vudu.
Yeah. You just
So
mentioned it was on a streaming platform, so I thought you knew which one it was.
I don't recall mentioning that.
I thought you did.
But anyway, yeah, like I loved A Silent Voice. I think it may very well end up in my top 10 movies of all time, but I'm going to wait to actually fully make that judgment until like, some time has passed and I can think about it more, but I think uh, where I am right now, I love this movie. I love the way it handled disability representation. Even though I'm not deaf, I've known a lot of people who are, and I've heard about their experiences in the public school system. So, from what I have seen, from what I have been told, this is fairly accurate. Um, so, yeah, I'm going to jump into the critic ratings if you have nothing else to say.
Yes, I don't.
All right. So, IMDb gives this movie an 8.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes
Hmm.
has it at 95%. My Anime List has it at 8.9 out of 10. And
Wait, the fuck?
My Anime List is actually a very very prominent anime rating site. So
Huh.
I'm not surprised to see it there. Um, and then 96% of Google users liked the movie, which I think is actually fairly high for Google users.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, because like usually Google users they float between like the 85 to
80s to 7.
93.
Yeah.
Like for good movies, they tend to float between 85 to 93. But this movie goes all the way up to 96, and I think that's really cool. So I'll go first. I am giving this movie a 9.6. I think
Interesting.
yeah, I think this movie it's just really really good, and I am almost certainly going to watch this movie again at some point in the future.
For me, 8.7.
I don't think I'm going to complain about that. I think that's a fairly high score.
Honestly, I don't really know why. It's just that number has adhered in my head more than once.
Yeah, but yeah. So like was said previously, you can join us next week for our free movie of the month for April, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And you can join us the week after that for Spider-Man 3. But until next time, I've been Avery, that's been Lily, and we will be seeing you.